episode of the WingNut and RockHead Show. We are at Reading, Pennsylvania at the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum for their annual air show. Now,
World War II weekend.
World War II weekend, thank you. Last year they didn't have a show as much as everybody else didn't have much of a show either because of the ongoing COVID situation, but they had decided to open up here and have a show for this weekend. We had a little bit of rain, a little bit of weather this afternoon.
But there's a great turnout.
Turnout's really good. It's Friday, and there's a lot of excitement going on. The sun's out, planes are flying, and we're having a good time. So
Quartet is singing.
That's right. Anyway, behind us is the P-61 restoration. That's an ongoing project that has been, I guess, 20 years now? 20 plus years this has been going on. And we are going to get an update from Russ Strine, who's the owner of the airplane and the museum as well, too. We're going to do a Zoom meeting with him in a part 2 of this series of WingNut and RockHead. So that's what I think we're going to end up doing. I just decided we're going to do a 2-parter for the WingNut and RockHead show.
It's on the calendar.
Yeah, so because it's going to be, we're just covering this event. There's so much to see here. So we're going to show you some of the airplanes, some of the equipment that's here, some of the vehicles.
Costumes.
The reenactors are awesome. There's a lot of cool
There's lots of period clothing, cars, bikes, motorcycles.
Costello reenactment
there's
group.
all kinds of
Harpo
stuff.
Marx,
There's Harpo Marx. There's
MacArthur.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's phenomenal.
There's going to be a hangar swing dance band.
Yeah, swing dance tonight.
In a little bit, in a couple hours, I would say. Yeah, about 6:30 or so. So we're going to try to capture some of that and see what happens. In the meantime, we're just going to show you around. We're going to show you some stuff, and hopefully you'll enjoy. And if you ever get a chance to come up here to the show, highly recommend it. So enjoy. Check this out. We're in the C-97 with Timothy in the Stratofreighter, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what we're in and what this does and what its role was in World War II towards the end and moving forward.
Yes, well, we are the Berlin Airlift Historical Foundation, and the reason why we have this airplane is one was used in the Great Berlin Airlift, 1948, awesome. 1949.
This one?
Not this exact one, but a Boeing C-97,
right.
Which is the reason why we have it. And of course, the idea was it wanted to replace the Douglas C-54s, which was the workhorse of the airlift, and they could carry much more weight, 40,000 pounds compared to 20,000 pounds. So they could do much more work with less airplanes. And that was the whole idea. This actually began the heavy lift concept with the United States Air Force.
Okay.
Wow.
Awesome.
Very cool.
I understand also that the B-24s were converted over to cargos too.
Yeah, but they were never used in the Berlin Airlift. The idea behind the C-97, this was the cargo version of the B-29 bomber. That was the idea behind it. Of course, it went on to be very popular as an air-to-air refueler.
How about that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we have it to educate people on just the advances being made in airlift capability towards the end of the Berlin Airlift.
Awesome. So have you flown this?
Yes.
How difficult is it? I know that you have a pilot and co-pilot, you have an engineer, navigator, and I guess the rest of the crew, if whoever's coming on board, load master, that kind of thing. How difficult is it on the controls to fly this? I mean, this is a big aircraft. I mean, like you said, it's as big as a B-29, correct? It's got the same or similar engines as a B-29 and part of the fuselage, but it just seems very
heavy.
Well, aerodynamic-wise, it's a dream to fly. It's like flying a Cadillac. The problem with this airplane, it's very labor-intensive to get it ready to fly. It's everything you do with this airplane is labor-intensive. And that's probably why this is the only remaining C-97 in the world that can be flown.
That's awesome.
I never would have thought a Cadillac. I would have thought more of a Camaro. Because they're really heavy on the road.
Yes. Well, this has aerodynamically boosted controls, and it's like power steering compared to our C-54, which is cable direct operated.
How many people does it take to literally fly the plane? How many people must be sitting here?
A pilot, co-pilot, and flight engineer.
So you do need 3.
We do need 3. That's the minimum permitted by law to fly this airplane.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And of course, we have a loadmaster in the back, but we've had tough problems we've had this airplane since 1996, dedicated, but all the obstacles that we have to go through, parts, funding, money, and now the COVID, and then the lack of events in 2020 is, we've been derailed somewhat to get it up and running. But not to mention that on April 13th, 2020, our workhorse C-54 was destroyed by a tornado.
Oh no!
So we're getting that back on track. So it's been a tough 2 years so far.
So being at .org, you guys have a website, right? You're taking donations. So where could folks go to help bring these airplanes back into the air and keep them flying?
Very simple, spiritoffreedom.org. That's it.
That's it.
Spiritoffreedom.org.
Okay, guys, go there. If you can donate $5, anything to help.
Anything.
I mean, the aircraft that we're in, again, the fuel, the maintenance on these things costs a lot of money to show
preserving
up
history,
anywhere.
yeah.
The sad part, in February of 2020, we had a contract in place that would solve all of our problems for many years on this airplane, but between COVID and the tornado, it just took it away. So we're trying to regroup and get back in that realm again.
Well, if there's anything we could do to help promote your cause, we appreciate it. And Timothy, thank you very much for allowing us to be up here and holding up the line so we could do this for you folks out there.
But let me say one more thing. We're not the only group out there that's having problems. So
that's right.
We feel sorry for our brethren that what this pandemic has done to us.
Well, we're fortunate to all be here to have this show at the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum here in Reading, Pennsylvania. So if you guys can come up, help the cause, we appreciate it.
Every year.
That's
Great
right.
air show. Awesome reenactments.
By.
I mean, it's just terrific.
So again, thanks a lot, Tim, for your time.
Thank you.
So check this out. I'm here with Garrett in a Sherman.
This is an M4 A3 105 Sherman.
Otherwise known as Easy 8?
No, that one's an Easy 8. This one's not.
Okay, this is a big one anyway.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we're with the World War II American Experience. Did I get that right?
I don't know, did you?
And they're in Gettysburg, and that's where these guys are based out of. So they were gracious enough to let us in here and check this baby out. So a little bit of tight quarters as far as what's inside, but we'll get a camera in here to do a quick look-see. But I think this is pretty badass. Now, what size cannon do we have here?
This is a 105 millimeter howitzer.
105 millimeter. Okay, this is a small one compared to that one over there. But nonetheless, this looks...
This is the bigger one.
This is the bigger one?
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Gary, WingNut, RockHead. He could be the new RockHead. No, I'm the RockHead in this case. Anyway. All right, but we're just having some fun. It's towards the end of the day here, so they're letting us pretty much do what we can without doing any damage. So come check this thing out. So what's the horsepower in this thing?
About 400. 400 to 450. I think this one's 450.
That's it for this big heavy thing?
Well, it's only 36 tons.
Only.
It's a lightweight for tanks.
We're here in the famous B-25 takeoff time, and we're here with Tom, who's the owner of this fine aircraft, as well as the B-51 and some other airplanes. The Quit Your Bitchins here. We're going to go there next and talk to you a little bit about what we did with that airplane. But in the meantime, we're out here in the beautiful sun at Reading, Pennsylvania, at the Mid-Atlantic Air Museum. And you're here for Tom. So, Tom, tell us a little bit about your B-25. How long have you had it?
It's probably a good 20 years now. I purchased this. It had a dragon painted across the side, and I didn't really like it all that much. So I contacted Gary and said, what do you think we should do? And of course, he has this inventory of all these Vargas girls and other famous painters and all their calendars, and he sent me Takeoff Time, which was originally, you can see, Gary painted here these lightning strikes. It was a weather observation B-25. Instead of going, and Gary did all this research and found it, and he said instead of painting bombing missions. They painted how many thunderstorms they went through. So we found the paint scheme, we removed the dragon, and then Gary painted it almost identical to what the original B-25 Nona staple was. Nothing different except, the original didn't have Gary's signature. And I said it was about 20 years. I think I owned it about 2 years before Gary painted this in 07. So it's more like 15 or 16 years. But Gary put this together for us. I think it all looks great and everything's perfect. And without him, this would have an ugly dragon on it, and everybody would ask me, what's the dragon? I wouldn't know. That's my little story about takeoff time. And everybody compliments it. And, in the warbird world, it's just known as TOT when they send you emails, what's up with TOT? So, because of the maestro here,
Thanks.
the artist to the stars, we've been able to have this nice place. Thanks.
Well, we're trying to twist his arm on his next project, so we'll probably fill you in on that if anything happens with that. So,
And Gary's painted half dozen planes. When you see Quit Your Bitchin', the scheme he put on that was originally painted like it was a Canadian Air Force plane. Gary reminded me, Tom, you're not Canadian, you're American. Maybe you should have your plane painted like an American. And then he found the Quit Your Bitchin' scheme and put that together for me too. So it's all been great.
Well, Tom, we thank you for having us once again and talking with your valuable time and enjoying the day. And I'm sure we'll do something later on. We'll get to go again.
My time's not all that valuable, but you're welcome to have any of it you need.
Well, looking forward to a flight one day, so maybe that we can make that happen.
So that will make it happen.
Are you doing flights for this show, or are you just static?
No, we just hang out.
Just hang out?
Yeah, we're not a
Take in some sun.
organization. We have a company that's called Claire Aviation. It has these planes. This is a holding company, but the difference between Claire Aviation and Hawkins and the Boy Scouts is the Boy Scouts has some adult leadership. We have none.
Is that
That's
a
where the fun
nonprofit?
comes in.
No, it's not. It's just the name. Claire's my daughter, one of my daughter's names.
gotcha.
So we needed to register the aircraft. She was 2 years old, and I said, let's just call it Claire Aviation.
There you go. Awesome. Well, we thank you again for taking the time. We know you don't like being in front of the camera all that
I don't
much.
mind being in front of the camera for you. Tell it like it is. This is what you
All
did.
right, see? The man. All right. Well, listen, thank you for sharing this, and we'll see you on the next project, okay? Stay tuned.